Welcome back to 5 Acres Honey Farm. I'm Tara Lynn. I am going to take you through extracting honey in my mountain hives, which are located near Fontana Lake in western North Carolina. And I'm gonna pretty much take you in over a few days of getting the frames organized, getting them off the hives. I have a new escape board adapter for an inner cover that I'm trying out. So I'll show you how well those worked and maybe didn't work. Kind of two different experiences in the two hives that I tried them out in, and show you how much honey came out. 3 weeks ago I left them this box, which has mainly frames with foundation with one frame of honey, and they built out like 2.5 frames. They really didn't do too much work in there, but they've got lots of honey in here. So let's take a look and see how much more. Look how clear this is. This is most likely sourwood. I wish I had more time to allow them to cap it, but I'll have to pull it tomorrow. And I got a chance to say hello to Queen Nat and Hala. She's one of the new queens. She just went around the corner. Miss camera shy. There she is. And there goes the small hive beetles. And she's going back. So very camera shy. I'll get her back in there. I just showered after getting in the hives, and unfortunately it started to completely pour when I was on the very last one. So fortunately though, I was able to close everything up with the new escape board little adapters for the inner covers, and I'll get some footage of that next when I go in there tomorrow to pull the supers off. One hive produced a good amount of honey. I am removing one super from them, but I'm not going to use all of the frames in that box. And then the other colony is a monster. It's just insane how much honey is in it. I have the entire hive is 6 mediums, and I could probably fill 4.5 full of just honey. And since I don't take all of their harvest, I'm removing 3 mediums from them, but I'm not going to harvest from all of the frames. It's just going to be easier for me to organize the frames once they're off the hive, and tomorrow it's just going to be cloudy and there shouldn't be much, if any, rain, and that will be good for the harvest process, to just get it off the hives and into the house. I had showed you a little bit of one of the frames. I saw a few that have the very light honey in it, and which is most likely sourwood. So I'm going to actually harvest those frames first and try to get that completely out of the extractor, and that's just going to be for me. And then I'll get all the other frames in and get those frames extracted for both me and for others. Trying to have a slow morning, just having some coffee on the porch before getting sweaty. As you can see, the weather is not cooperating. It was actually not raining for about 1.5 hours this morning, and it wasn't supposed to rain until mid-afternoon. Now it's close to noon and it is steadily raining. It's not pouring. So this poses a few problems. It's obviously very high humidity, which isn't good for kind of controlling the humidity when harvesting honey. So to mitigate this right now, I have the air conditioning going inside, plus some fans. Just due to the time that I'll be out here, I don't have an opportunity to allow the supers to hang out in a more humidity controlled environment before extracting. However, once the honey is extracted, I'll have an opportunity for a few days to do that. The other thing is, I mentioned in my earlier part of this video that I have this little adapter for the inner cover that you can use as an escape board. And I didn't know about escape boards until this year, and the idea with them is that you can put them, you can kind of see right here is where the inner cover is right now. So if you had a full escape board, you could put that on underneath your supers and any bees that are in your honey supers, they can get down, but they can't get back in. And you would put that on like the day before you plan to pull the supers off. And I actually, when I was at the state beekeepers meeting last weekend, I was asking some of the vendors for escape boards. And instead, there was, the big brand Dadant. They had a booth there, or Dadant, I don't know how you pronounce it. They showed me, which I'll show you in a moment, these little adapters, and you just invert and move your inner cover, and it turns it into an escape board. It was like $2 or $3, and the other benefit, which they had said, was you could just put it in a drawer. It's really tiny storage space that it requires. The trick is, though, did it work? That is the question. So we'll see. I put that on yesterday afternoon, so it's been less than 24 hours, almost 24 hours, to see if all those bees in those top 3 supers move down. And then I have on the one in the back, back there, it's just under the top super back there. So my goal right now is to see if that worked. If not, I've got the fume board, and since it's not sunny to activate the fume board, my husband has a heat gun, so I can use that to get the board hot to help the fumes settle. So that's going to be the next step. I'm planning to take those 4 supers in. I'm going to organize the frames and pull the ones that I want to extract from. And then at sunset tonight, I'm going to put these boxes back out. The little hive in the middle, right over here, that little one, that one is just about ready for another box. They don't have enough resources to build any comb right now, so this hive right here doesn't need all these boxes, so I'm going to take one of those and put some frames in for the other. So that way everything that's out here right now will be back out here at sunset, so I don't have to store anything and worry about any of those hive beetles getting into anything else out here. So let's see what happens. I'm going to start with this hive first, because then I'll kind of be done with it. I had a chance to put a solid bottom board back on here. I had the Freeman hive beetle trap on it, and so since that's ventilated, I can't do the ApiGuard treatment, and my goal was to get the honey pulled so I could get the ApiGuard on. And I have the ApiGuard tray in there, and I was just realizing I wanted to put the tray on and close it, but I believe I don't think this has any brood in it. Actually, it does. So I'm gonna grab that tray in a moment, and I'm gonna get that set up on here, and that way their mite treatment will start right away. Unfortunately, it started pouring yesterday, so I was down to this box inspecting, and then the rain just kept coming. So perhaps if the weather holds out this evening, before I put all these, these boxes back on, I'll be able to get down and swap out that bottom and give them their mite treatment as well. But to show you, I just took a peek in here. So they're using that as their back entrance right now, and they can't get up into this box. The escape boards seem to work really well. And there's the bees that you're seeing are pretty much the only ones up in there. So there's probably maybe, 24 bees or so, not too many. So I'll be able to pull this off. I'm gonna shake it out a bit, and then before I bring it in the house, I know it's a little overkill, I do frame by frame, but there is not one bee that comes in the house. I know some beekeepers who, they're extracting with the bees flying around, but I don't do that. And this is actually the little adapter. So you just, like I said, you invert. As you can see, small hive beetles abound. Saw a few before I just killed. But you just invert the inner cover and put this in. It does have a spot where you could nail this down. I can see the bees could move it aside, I guess, a bit, so it may not have been as effective. But for just, oops, sorry, just almost dropped it. But for just a few dollars, they can get in here, and then they climb out there, and they can't get back in. So it may have worked a bit better if I would have secured it, but worked fine for this first time using it, trying it out. If you're curious about the heat gun that I'm using, that's what this is. There's 2 settings on it, and it doesn't blow hot air like a blow dryer, but it's similar. It just heats things up a lot faster, and my husband uses it for some car work and any machining and things. So I used that to heat up the fume board, which took maybe 30 seconds, really, really fast. And now I'm gonna wait about 5 minutes while it works on the hive. It is robbing season. We've got a little bumble friend here, not so much a friend, trying to get in, so it's kind of a good thing they're guarding the entrance there, but this is really a time when all of the entrances need to be sealed up. So as soon as I get these off, seal up their entrance, so then they only have to guard the front. I decided, since I still have that trap on, to put the confectionery sugar on, so that motivates the bees to clean themselves, pushes the beetles around, and then they'll go down in here and the beetles will drown. So of course, just as I got the last box off, it has started to rain. So they were already seeking shelter down here, so I'm gonna just get them knocked off here, get this closed up, and get inside. Look at that, covered in sugar. Now it's really raining. However, another fortunate thing is that I'm able to park this under the overhang. I can shake off the frames without it getting rained on and get it in the house. So that's the next step. I have a fan going and all of the frames. This one's empty right now because I had just some frames with foundation that they hadn't built out, and those are outside. This one, you can see it's pooling down there. It's most likely sourwood. I'm gonna cut this out and enjoy it for myself. And then I'm gonna give them back what they started to build. They just started to build a little wonky between these frames, so I'm gonna have to cut that. And yeah, there's a lot in here. There is a lot in here. I had almost 3 full frames of sourwood, so I'm extracting that first. And this is gonna be just for me. So I'm gonna put this bucket aside, scrape down the tank, and then get extracting for the rest of the harvest. Time to get started. I'm hoping this will take me another 2 hours or so. Then I'm gonna relax, make dinner, keep an eye on the weather, and get these frames back on the hive. All right, let's see how much darker the rest of the honey is compared to the sourwood. Pretty remarkable. Definite color difference. It's so dark. So delicious as well. I just finished spinning the final frames, and I've got, whoop, here they are. 2 of these buckets are pretty much almost full to the top. And then one of them is the sourwood, which is for me. It's probably about 3 to 5 pounds of sourwood. And just waiting for this to drain a little bit more before I could fill this final bucket. I brought just enough buckets. I actually might need to bring 2 of those back over and just fill them up a little bit more. I had left a little bit of space. I typically don't like to fill them up all the way because I have a really tough time pouring out of them when I'm starting to bottle, but I'll figure a system out at that time if I need to. Yeah, this was actually like a really great extraction experience. And a few years ago, I had a few frames have a blowout, which is when they become imbalanced and they hit another frame, and then the whole thing it's just a big pile of comb in the bottom, and then I feel really bad. I can't bring it back to the bees. It also really slows down extracting because it's getting stuck in the spigot along the bottom. And yeah, but this was all really great. I've got the AC going to help with the moisture control. There's a fan going, which might be causing some background noise. And yeah, I have some time to go make dinner before getting the boxes back on the hives, and the sun is shining. It actually started to shine like right after I got the last frame inside, and it was pouring rain. So overall, this was a really good experience. Plus, really glad to have my own sourwood honey for the first time ever. Thank you for watching, and I will share some more next time.